Welcome, welcome, welcome to Storytime with me, Miss Sheila. I hope you're having a wonderful and beautiful day. Today's story is called My Name is Truth, the life of Sojourner Truth. And this is the incredible lady from the 1800s. My mama was a slave woman called Mama, with sweet arms and eyes like a hawk. I had a daddy too, bomb free. They loved all 12 of us. Wow. And had to see us sold off one by one like horses for work. Their hearts must broke. Oh, I bet their hearts would have broken. They had 12 children and they were all sold to different plantations. Not nice at all. Mama told me to look up at the stars at night shining over my brothers and sisters. We never hardly saw them again. Her heart had 12 holes in it. I know. Wow. I got bought for $100 when I was 9. At least they spoke my tongue, Dutch. Next place, I was bigger now, worth $150. They did not speak words I knew. I was always getting beat. Once he fired up a bunch of green sticks in the fire hardened like stone and beat me until the blood ran. Those marks will never go away. I can feel them like ridges under my dress. Oh, that's very hard. Then Master Dumont bought me. He was not so bad, but the mistress was evil. They they thought my back was a cart for hauling rocks, wood, timber, and grain. I worked hard as a man. Did they ever see me, Isabel, under those loads? Time came, he said, Isabel, you are a good woman. You can go free 1 year early. But he broke his promise, and I determined to leave. I owned myself now. I was not a slave. I spun 100 pounds of wool to make up for leaving, crept out the door in the darkness. My baby Sophia clutched in my arms and ran. Would he chase me? Would he not? Until God and showed me. Oh, sorry, I was reading this wrong. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I spun 100 pounds of wool to make up for leaving, crept out of the door into the darkness. My baby Sophia clutched in my arms and ran and walked for miles, looking over my shoulder. Would he chase me? Would he not? Until God showed me the way to a kind family that took me in and the baby too. Oh, you see, I thought the words were just all like this, but they go from here to there. So that sometimes you need to make sure how you read. Welcome, they said. Had anyone ever said that word to me before? And showed me a fine, wide room with a white bed to sleep in. I never slept in a bed before. Just let me creep under, and it will be like a shelter of leaves. Finally, sleep came to my eyes. Wow, that must be so wonderful. Wow. Can you imagine not ever sleeping to a bed until you're an adult? Wow. I worked for the Van Wagons for a few years. Then the terrible news struck my heart like lightning. The evil Dumont mistress sold my son Peter away down south. They had not allowed they are not allowed to do that by law. I marched up to the Dumont house to meet that lady. I want my son back. Get me my son. She laughed. What a lot of fuss over a little colored boy. But I demanded my son back. I felt as tall as a tree inside, courage racing around inside my heart. Yes. I got lawyers to help, and finally Peter came home again. His back a mess of scars, his soul too. Frightened of his mama at first, but he came to know me at last. Wow, that's really hard. I worked in New York City for a while. We won't spend long on that. Met some bad people, some good ones. But God was leading me east to preach. I left at dawn, and God spoke in my heart a new name that fits me like a new dress made just for me. Is that not incredible? God gave her our new name. Now I am in Sojourner because I travel far and long to tell the news of God's truth in meetings and gatherings, and people like to hear me talk. I think with a name like Sojourner Truth, our body has some respect at last. I found a new home in Massachusetts at a silk mill where all men and women were equal. I was happy there, bought a little house, my very first, and preached even more. One night at a camp meeting, there was a bunch of rowdies kicking up a storm. I was afraid they'd come for me, the only colored woman in the crowd. I hid behind a trunk. Then my heart spoke. Sojourner, are you weak? Isn't God with you right now? I strode out and climbed onto a wagon back and spoke, sang, and preached to those rowdies until they were calm. Wow. Because look at that, it's a big crowd. And then she listened to God and did what she was told to do. Something about my voice is like a blanket on a fretful baby. Then at times my voice is like Gabriel's trumpet, firing people up, telling them the good news of salvation and the terrible days of slavery. Look at her and then the people listening. People just can't believe an ex-slave woman can speak truth and power. Once at a rally, a man jumped up and shouted, "You must be a man. You are tall as one and powerful as one. You want me to show you I am a woman?" I threatened to open my dress, but others made him back down in shame. I showed them my truth then. I told my story to Olive Gilbert, a kind woman at the mill in Northampton. I see all those words creeping across the page as she writes. I never could make sense of writing or reading. I will go on the road again selling my narrative of Sojourner Truth and the photographs of me. Those shadow pictures bring in money to feed the real woman. Sometimes I sit in amazement in some fine living room remembering I was a slave. Working in sweat, beaten, sleeping on hard floors, now asleep in a real bed, and rally others with fiery words. Think of my daddy, my brothers and sisters, like 12 shining stars. I will see them and my own children again someday. Her life turned around, and Mama will put her sweet arms around me, and I will be home at last. Yes, because heaven is our real home. And at the back here, here's a picture of Sojourner Truth, and then just the author's notes about Sojourner. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that true story, and I hope you remember that God always has a plan for us. Yes, He does. And He loves us so much. Until next time with me, Miss Sheila, keep shining your light bright. Bye for now.